next 10 years that crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin, all of this innovation will be the 12th sector of the S&P.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we have Kevin O'Leary on crypto, stable coins, and Bitcoin mining. And he's pushing the NWO Agenda. He wants that stable coin regulation. Why? Because stable coins are nothing but fiat. I go over it time and time again. But we know these billionaires are only going to tell us half truth. We know the fourth industrial revolution is being built right in front of the eyes of the people. And we know part of that is programmable money to tell you what, where, and when and how to buy, and be able to tax the globe. Blockchain gives the NWO the all-seeing eye. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now, we know the United States is behind on purpose. The SEC has been kicking the regulation can down the road because we know regulation is going to be global. Once we get that regulation, then we'll start getting in those pensions, those 401ks, which is going to stabilize the price. The NWO wanted to keep the casino running, so therefore they can take all those trillions of dollars that they actually printed, and they have to circulate those dollars through the system, flipping that money about 10 times, so therefore they can fund this fourth industrial revolution.
An acceleration of policy proposals coming out of bipartisan Senate committees on the Hill has never been greater. We've got the Loomis bill, we have the Haggerty bill for stablecoin, the Toomey bill for stablecoin, we have the POTUS executive order, all within 6 weeks of each other, all discussing the future of cryptocurrencies. And you're right, we need to catch up with the rest of the world here because regulators in other jurisdictions like Canada, the first to allow a Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF, the first crypto exchange dealer broker was licensed there across the country. Switzerland, England, United Arab Emirates, they're far advanced. And I think our government understands now that we've got to catch up quickly. And you saw a major move just yesterday in the announcement of BlackRock and Fidelity putting $400 million into USDC, the Circle product. That's unprecedented for such staid financial services companies to make a bet that large on cryptocurrency. And the reason the prices are volatile is that sovereign funds and pension plans, for all the excitement about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, own this much of it, nothing. And they're not going to do that until there's policy in place. You want price stability, you want price appreciation, allow a sovereign running a $200 billion mandate, a 1% position in Bitcoin. That's how you get there. But they're not going to do it until there's policy in place. And so I'm very pro-policy on this. I'm very fortunate I've been able to meet these senators, discuss their bills with them. I'm glad that they're asking private citizens to come to the Hill and give their input. That's great. But again, we've got to accelerate this policy. And I think the best way to do it is pick one asset class. Let's go stable coins. The Toomey bill, the Haggerty bill, both propose and contemplate making this a policy decision. They want transparency. They want to see what's backing up the stable coin, if it's US dollar and what other assets. They want to audit it every 30 days. I'm fine with that. And they don't want any assets inside it longer duration than 12 months. That makes total sense to me. Now, why wouldn't we push one of those bills through and get this one asset class that allows people to buy stable coins, lend them out at 4 to 6% interest, and at least protect their capital against inflation? You can't do that with savings in a bank account. You're basically being taxed at 5.5% with 6% inflation. Nobody gets more than 50 basis points of interest anymore. So there's really good use case for this, and we've got to get it going. And policy is the way to do it. So I'm very encouraged about that. Now, obviously, as an investor, this is now, I really believe that the crypto will be the 12th sector of the S&P in 10 years. So I'm going to invest accordingly. It's now 20% of my operating company's portfolio across 32 different positions. I'm very comfortable with my diversity. And yes, there's volatility, but I'm essentially waiting for the government. I want to be ahead of the curve. I want to own Bitcoin before the sovereign wealth funds buy it. And that's my bet. Now, everybody else has a different opinion. That's fine. But clearly, on the first day at Bitcoin 2022, when I made that keynote on the Wednesday, that was 1,500 institutional investors. That's the first time that's ever happened. Now, they own nothing, but they've come to learn, and that's the first step. And then you've got all the policy coming our way. This is all good as far as I'm concerned.
And guys, I told you a long time ago, the current miners that are in the system right now are going to get pushed out. And we know the big corporations are going to take over. They are the ones who have the access to this clean energy agenda. Remember, guys, they made trillions and trillions of dollars with oil. And right now, they're going to make trillions and trillions of dollars with this clean energy agenda. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows, when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Trump was a very famous television reality star. I knew that because Shark Tank and Celebrity Apprentice started at the same time, and we used to run into each other in the forwards all the time. And he used that platform to build policy, which was very friendly at the end of the day. You may not have liked him as a president, and I hate to get into politics, but his policy was very pro-business. And that's really what I think a lot of people are looking for, some guidance on a more pro-business aspect. I will say one thing about the POTUS order. Having read it, you'll notice deep buried in the back end of it is this comment about climate change, and that is a direct swipe at Bitcoin mining companies. One thing to note, and I brought this up at the keynote at Bitcoin 2022, you try and have to figure out, in terms of investing in Bitcoin, one way to do it is if you're not allowed to own the coin itself, you can own the shares of public mining companies which trade in proxy to Bitcoin pricing. And so companies like Marathon, Hut 8, Hive, Riot, they're all great companies that were mining Bitcoin, and they were using carbon offsets to claim carbon neutrality. Well, if you read the POTUS order, and even worse to that, the memo from the SEC in the last few weeks, they're going to require audits of carbon credits. Now, everybody knows carbon credits are BS, if I may use that term and excuse my language, because there's no way to audit it. There's no ledger. You can't do an activity that creates carbon and say you bought an acre of the Amazon rainforest and say they offset each other. But the SEC order contemplates asking an auditor to sign that statement, just like a financial statement every quarter, taking on risks that they will not take on. So in the case of those companies that I had indexed for ownership in Bitcoin, I sold them all because they've got a world of hurt coming. The new model for Bitcoin mining that is emerging very quickly because of what the POTUS order said and because what the SEC is indicating in their memo is that it's hydropower, hydroelectricity, and nuclear power that is the best way to mine Bitcoin. And those projects are springing up all over the place, all around the world. The biggest one right now is in northern Norway. It's called the Norway Project. It's run by a private company called Bitrue. The largest shareholder is the United Arab Emirates. So they're providing the equipment and the capital to build that out, all hydroelectricity. But watch projects come in upstate New York, Montana, North Dakota, Tennessee Valley. These are all areas where there is hydroelectricity available. And so this is the new model. So it's pretty tough for the early pioneers of Bitcoin mining who got stuck before anybody knew anything about this carbon audit stuff. They're the ones with the arrows in their back. And then these new companies over the next 24 months will go public, like the Bitzeros, and institutional capital will go there. But this whole Bitcoin mining issue is going to be long-term good because about 85% of dams in America were built contemplating turbines that were never installed. Now investors like me are happy to install those turbines if we get the right to put a data center beside the dam. This is a really interesting innovation that will push us to more green electricity.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.